Now we will continue with the Miller experiment for the molecular collapse of evolution. For the evolutionists, Miller experiment is the basic of the molecular evolution. But with the 20th century's advanced technologies, now we know that it is just a disaster for the theory. It was all beginning with just one question: how life originate on Earth? Harold Urey and Stanley Miller are two scientists who tried to find out that cell might appear by coincidence on Earth. And Stanley Miller took a big glass balloon and filled it with some gases, like ammonia, methane, hydrogen, and water vapor. And he used in this balloon and boiled it to the 100 centigrade degrees for 1 week. And he said that he used electricity because he assumed that there were lightnings in the primordial Earth. And with the end of the experiment, after 1 week, he found that there were 3 amino acids that are essential for life, for the living things, and in this mixture. And also every evolutionist were caused excitement, and they were so excited and surprised that they were written on newspapers and magazines and everywhere that Miller just created life. But it was just a lie, as we know it. And he was just animated some molecules. And they made up some stories, like amino acids come together and form the proteins. And somehow these proteins come together, and with the help of the lipid molecules, the cells formed. And with these cells come together, and the organism's origin. But it was just a lie, because all of them depending on just a fake experiment, the Miller experiment. Why this Miller experiment was a fake? Let's talk about it. Because first of all, they used wrong gases. At that time, there were no ammonium or methane, but Miller used ammonium and methane. And they found that in 1980s, some scientists in America studied about this subject, and they found that there was just nitrogen and carbon dioxide. And with carbon dioxide and nitrogen, they repeated the experiment, and they got nothing. And also Miller accepted this situation. And for the second one, the system of the balloon was not suitable for the stable amino acid formation. Because when he produced an amino acid in the balloon, he uses electricity, and it also breaks down easily and suddenly. So he says that he used a method called as the cold trap. But this cold trap was not there while the amino acids was forming in the earth. So this is not true. For the third one, at that time, there was too much oxygen on Earth. And we can see that with the 3.5 billion years old, the rocks, they are telling us this because they are oxidized. And also there was no ozone layer. And with the ultraviolet light, it comes directly to the Earth on the amino acids and everything on the Earth. And it destroys it easily. And at the last one, he says that he found 3 amino acids. And they can be used in the living things. But when we look in the mixture, we can see that there are lots of amino acids. Maybe some of them are harmful, or maybe some of them is useless. And also amino acids are 2 types in nature. We know that one is right-handed, one is left-handed. And in this mixture, they are both in this mixture. So there's a question appears in here. How did life find its way in these useful and unuseful mixtures of amino acids? And who chose these useful ones and arranged them together? In here we will talk about the Harold Urey, who organized the Miller experiment with his students, and he confesses about this situation. All of us who study the origin of life find that the more we look into it, the more we feel it is too complex to have evolved anywhere. We all believe as an article of faith that life evolved from that matter on this planet. It is just that its complexity is so great. It is hard for us to imagine that it did. we talked about all the situations in here and all the evidences, Miller disproved himself. And it was a fake experiment because he controlled the conditions as he wanted. And also he added the substances he wanted. And also he eliminated the substances he didn't want. So we can say that even himself didn't want to let the chance to play a role in his experiment. And as Uri said, even all scientists come together with all laboratory equipment and can do everything they want. But science is proving that the life is really created.